welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for younger gamers by gamers. I am the Dark Unicorn, purveyor of justice and all things rainbow, but you can call me Hex.
And I'm the genius, inventor, time-traveling Mr. Future Gentleman who strikes fear into the hearts of all criminals, and my secret identity is Bajo. And Darren, where's your costume?
Oh, I do believe if you check my specifications, I have more than enough powers to qualify as a superhero in my own right. Rocket boots, noob nullifying lasers, time travel.
I guess so. As you can see, we're all dressed up to get into the spirit of all things superhero, because coming up in the show, we're going to review Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Holding Grand Central hostage at rush hour? Now that's criminal.
You know what, guys? No superhero team can exist without a supervillain for them to fight against. Dark Unicorn?
Yes, Future Gentleman Man.
We need a supervillain, and I think it should be Darren.
Negative.
Yes, good idea. Oh, please be our supervillain, Darren, please.
Please.
I don't know why you think being an evil mastermind who wants to destroy the planet would suit me, Bajo.
Darren, it's been decided. When I get back from reading the news, I expect you to be kitted up and suited out.
Oh, can I still wear a cape?
Yes, because capes are the best.
Future Gentleman here with all the news from around the world. Researchers at the Max Planck Institute have found that playing Super Mario 64 is good for your brain. They found that playing just 30 minutes of Mario 64 a day significantly increased the size of areas of the brain that handle memory, planning, spatial navigation, and motor skills. The researchers suggest that this effect could be used to combat mental illnesses such as Alzheimer's and post-traumatic stress disorder. And now it's time to go back to the studio. Just the clock.
Mwahaha! Behold, weakling! It's me, the evil super genius, Professor Cat Scratch.
Ah, Professor Cat Scratch, eh? A supervillain to be sure, and who's the little friend here?
Why, that's my sidekick, the menacing Meow. You wouldn't want to see him angry.
All right, Cat Scratch, tell us your evil plot, because we all know that supervillains always conveniently tell the heroes their plans.
Well, I have a robot cat army.
Oh, yes, and?
Well, I have been working on a super laser in the D.A.R.R.E.N cave.
A doomsday weapon! An evil plot to be sure. You'll never get away with it, Cat Scratch, but first can you just hang on to that, because we want to have a look at We Party You.
Oh, yes, a good idea, Bajo. Now, the party game genre is not my favorite, but that's only because there aren't that many good party games out there.
We Party You, as the name suggests, is the Wii U's party offering, with 3 different sets of games to take on with friends. Or you can play a fair few of them on your own if you're on your lonesome.
If you're not sure where to start, you can seek the help of Party Phil, the game's party host. By identifying how many players there are, how long you want to play for, and what kind of games you feel like playing, Party Phil will make some suggestions.
The first games I tried out were those board game style games in TV Party, which took some inspiration from Mario Party, although they weren't quite as fun. Players take turn rolling the dice and compete in mini-games to try and win bonus points to get an advantage.
I will say, these are some of the better minigames I've played, and it's a nice breaker between all the dice rolling. You really do want to play these games with friends though. Buttoning through the AI's turns when you're playing on your own gets boring very quickly, and the games do go on for quite a while.
Yeah, I think these games just don't really appeal to me. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather play a real board game. I also felt like there was a lot of rubber banding going on, you know, to level the playing field out and make sure no one player gets too far ahead.
Start! Too bad.
And that just signals to me that they're trying to drag things out to lengthen the game.
I don't know, Hex, I think it adds an element of excitement to it. And they did a similar thing in Mario Party. It means the tables can turn at any moment, and it keeps it exciting right till the very end.
The next group of games are the house party games. I felt these were the most unsatisfactory of the lot, relying on a silly gimmick and poor use of the Wii U's functions. This fast food restaurant game is a prime example.
Oh yeah, the one where you just have to shout out your menu order while another player acts as the cashier and tries to remember what you ordered? That was silly.
Yeah, that was silly, but the worst one for me was that weird folk dancing one. I mean, what was that about?
No.
Hold on. Hey,
Around we go!
And back all the way back again. I did like the one where you had to take a photo of your face pulling a certain expression though, and everyone else had to guess what it was. Here's me doing the happy my team won facial expression. The other options that players get to choose from make it tricky to figure out. All in all, it's not the worst party game compilation that I've played, but it's not the best either. I really hope they bring out Mario Party for the Wii U, because that really does set the better standard for party games. There are a fair few mini-games on offer, and there's a decent length to the board games in TV Party, but I can't say that I really felt like this is the kind of game you'd get a lot of value out of.
Yes, it's not the magic party game that we're waiting for to make us fall in love with the genre. I'm giving it 4 out of 10 rubber chickens.
It's 4.5 from me. Guys, is it me, or is Party Phil a little bit scary?
Hey, speaking of scary things, we need to put a stop to Cat Scratch and his evil plan.
Ah, yes. So if we are to defeat him, what are your superhero powers, future gentleman man?
Well, I can teleport.
Your powers sound puny and weak, and I bet it doesn't even work.
That sounds like a request for a test. Behold! Let's adjust it here. And... Behold! And I return. Adjust it 1 second. And... Haha, pretty fancy, huh? What about you? What are your powers? Dark Unicorn?
Ah, yes. Well, I stun my enemies with a puff of magic dust, and then I suck into them with my unicorn strength. Pow!
Oh, look out, Dark Unicorn! Cat Scratch is up to something.
Stand back, heroes! A deadly data dump is incoming!
Ah, it's all part of his evil plan!
Today's topic, super. An adjective or descriptive word, the dictionary defines super as referring to that which is of a high grade or quality, or large, or powerful, or excellent. In the video game world, super is often used when naming sequels to emphasize how much a game has improved.
Buy the Super NES Superset and get 5 complete Mario games standard.
Nintendo's successor to the NES console was the Super NES, or SNES for short. An excellent franchise on that system was the Super Star Wars series, which featured one of the earliest examples of the double jump, or in this case, a super jump. Use the super jump, Luke. Let's go! Back in 1989, PC gamers rejoiced at the introduction of the Super VGA graphics standard, which allowed for 16 different colours at an 800 by 600 pixel resolution. Impressive. Mario and Luigi started off as the Mario Brothers, but hit the big time when they became the Super Mario Brothers. Heroines have also had their share of super games too, such as Super Metroid and Super Princess Peach. There was never a normal Smash Brothers, but most gamers would agree the Super Smash Brothers series was worthy of the name from its very first installment. Other games to make a claim on this prefix include Super Turrican, Super Street Fighter 4, Super Monkey Ball, and Super Scribblenauts. Though beware, spawnlings, not all games marked by the prefix Super are worthy of the name, let alone your time and money. Always seek out trustworthy reviews, and if there's a shadow of a doubt, try before you buy, or you could be super sorry. Data dump complete.
A fitting dump, Darren. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Darren. But Hex, let's go to the Ask Good Game desk and answer some very important superhero questions.
Good idea.
Away!
Oh, I'm quite enjoying this supervillain business, Menacing Meow. How about you?
When you think about it, Hex, Darren's cave is totally a super villain lair. I bet it has all sorts of pits of sharks and deadly piranhas and evil hats.
Yeah, but he's no match for our superhero powers. Good shall always triumph over evil. But we should answer some questions. So
Indeed.
Let's get into it with this one from Chowder, who is in Questions in Bubble Land, which is in Victoria. Hey guys, love your show. With Knack, I was wondering if it was coming out on PS3. Thanks. Also, with the PS Vita, do you know if NHL 14 on it? Hex, do these faces. Thanks so much.
Sorry to say, Chowder, but Knack is absolutely not coming out on PS3. It is very much a PS4 exclusive. As with a lot of launch games for new consoles, they're made to try and entice you into upgrading to the new machine. Not to mention, it's got a lot of fancy graphic stuff that's just not possible on the PS3 hardware.
As for NHL 14 on the Vita, again, sorry to say, but no, there doesn't seem to be any NHL games on the Vita yet.
The only hockey game that we are aware of for the Vita is Table Ice Hockey, which uses the Vita's augmented reality cards to create a little ice hockey rink somewhere in your house.
We haven't played it, but it looks decent for a little downloadable game. Anyway, let's move on to this one from Jordan, who is stuck between two dimensions in Tasmania.
Do you like my hat, Hex?
Yeah.
I can pull magic stuff out of it.
Really?
Ready? Close your eyes.
Yep.
Close your eyes. Open them. And pull Pikachu out of it.
Whoa, how did
Magic.
you do that?
Magic. Help! I am desperate. I have sent this question in at least 10 times. Okay, will I be able to play Pokemon White and White 2 on 3DS? Please answer, or I will explode, destroying the entire hemisphere, including all of the kitten. So many kittens. P.S. You're answering for the kittens. Not the kittens! Unless he means Darren's evil robot army kittens, in which case that would be quite helpful, and thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, but not actual kittens, though. Ooh, cool kitten faces. But Jordan, yes, you can absolutely play Pokemon White and White 2 in a 3DS. And as we've mentioned before, you can in fact play any DS game in a 3DS.
Yes, but you can't play 3DS games in an old DS.
Correct. Kitten saved. Whew. Speaking of DSs, let's go to this one from Lachlan, who is in Woodford, New South Wales. Why doesn't the 2DS use a clamshell design?
Well, Lachlan, it's a super emergency phone! For superheroes only. It's Mr. Future Gentleman Man here.
Yes, and the Dark Unicorn!
How will be of assistance to you in this time of crisis?
This is Professor Cat Scratch, your arch nemesis, with an answer for Lachlan. I think it's fair to say that 2DS was designed with two things in mind. Firstly, that it's very much for younger sportlings who might be a little rougher with the device. And secondly, it's the cheapest option out of the 3DS range. So with that in mind, it makes sense not to use a clamshell design. While the hinges are pretty sturdy on the other 3DS models, they are a weak point. So a single solid body makes for a sturdier and more sportling-friendly console that can withstand a few bumps and drops. And whereas the 3DS obviously needs two separate screens, the flat body of the 2DS means that it can just use one big screen and make it look like two by dividing them with a bit of plastic. The advantage of that is one screen is cheaper than two, which means it costs less for them to make.
Well, thanks, Darren, for that very detailed response. A bit too detailed. I mean, whoa, Mr. Scratch, evil Cat
Professor
Scratch, you'll never,
it's evil.
never get away with it.
All right, well, moving on to this one now from Tricky Team Jandy, who is in the Gold Coast, Queensland.
Can you please review Pocket Trains?
Well, Tricky Team, unfortunately I don't think we're going to have a chance to do a full review of it, but we can talk a little bit about it now. So basically Pocket Trains is a lot like Pocket Planes, except with trains.
Yes, so like Pocket Planes, you basically build up a network to pick up lots of jobs from one city and deliver them to another. Each train has to run on its own individual line, so there's a bit of planning to be done to figure out how to link up your network.
It's pretty good. My only real issue with it is how long it takes to earn money at the start of the game. It just takes ages to build up a decent-sized network. But as a free little game, you know, I enjoyed it.
I think I preferred Pocket Planes, personally, but yes, it's decent, and if you like trains, then I think it's definitely worth checking out.
All right, well, let's move on to this one from Kale and Shiana, who are in Wodonga, which is in Victoria. Can you please review Toy Story for Disney Infinity, and what is the next game coming out for Disney Infinity? Also, is it possible to eat broccoli without vomiting? We love Darren, and we think he is cool.
Oh, well, sorry to say, Kale and Shiana, but again, I don't think we'll have much of a chance to do a review of the Toy Story playset. With all the games coming out recently, we haven't even had a chance to check it out yet.
As for the next playset coming out, well, no one knows what that is at the moment since they haven't announced what it'll be. It could be almost anything, I guess. I mean, maybe they'll go back to one of the Disney classics like Aladdin or The Little Mermaid. Or maybe it'll be something that ties in with an upcoming film. We just don't know yet.
Also, it's impossible to eat broccoli without vomiting. You're absolutely right.
Well, no, Bajo, broccoli's delicious. Just put a bit of Parmesan cheese on it and it's super healthy for you.
Yeah, but it's my superhero weakness. Much like kryptonite is for Superman, it robs me of my powers.
Well, my superhero weakness is licorice.
I like licorice. Oh! Bajo speaking.
Oh, Bajo, you really should know. know, broccoli is high in vitamin C, dietary fibre, and other rich nutrients. You really should eat more of it.
Oh, okay, maybe I will then, Darren. Hey, Darren, what's your superhero weakness?
Yeah, what's your villain weakness?
weakness.
Radioactive dogs.
Ah,
Radioactive dogs. Makes sense.
yeah, makes
Thanks,
sense,
Darren.
makes sense. Bye, Darren.
All right, well, moving on to this one from Herobrine, who is right behind you. In New South Wales.
Very small.
Hey GGSP, I have a few questions for you. 1. Why did Nintendo take away the GameCube controller and game card ports? 2. Will Nintendo be bringing out games from GameCube for Wii, Wii U like Mario Kart, Double Dash? 3. Which is better, Xbox One or PS4? Bajo, do these.
A boy.
See ya. Well, Herobrine, they took out the GameCube controller and game card ports because the Wii U isn't backwards compatible with GameCube games, whereas the Wii was. So it made sense for the Wii to have them, but it's a bit silly to put them on a console that you can't actually use them on.
As for if they'll be bringing out GameCube games for the Wii and Wii U, well, they've already brought a few remade GameCube games for the Wii, like Pikmin, while the Wii U just got Wind Waker. So it's possible we'll see a few more games get remade, but there haven't been any other ones announced.
Hopefully at some point they'll add GameCube games to the Virtual Console though, so that you can download them. They haven't confirmed if that's going to happen, but I think it would make sense, so, fingers crossed they do.
Indeed. As for which out of the Xbox One and PS4 is better, well, until we've had a good chance to sit down with them and actually own them for a while and get used to them, we can't really say. But they both look good to us, and as we said last week, it's really all about the games.
Indeed, but moving on to our last one for today, and it's from Minecraft in Townsville, who is in Minecraft Townsville, which is in Queensland.
Is there going to be a game console where you put the helmet on your head and you're in the game and all your movements act in the game? If there is, will LEGO Batman 2 come out on it? Can you please give me an awesome server name and address like your server? Please give me your one. Darren is the best out of all of you. Please laser me Darren. Hex, do these. Bajo, do these. Well, that sounds to me like you're talking about the Oculus Rift there, although at the moment the Rift only tracks your head movements, so it can't detect what your arms, legs, and the rest of your body are doing.
But there's already a lot of other motion tracking controllers and technology like the Kinect out there, and people are already finding ways to use those to track your arms and legs while using the Rift, so it's very much in the realm of reality, I think.
And I'd imagine at some point in the future there will be some kind of all-in-one virtual reality headset with a built-in Kinect-like sensor that can track everything.
Oh, I would love that, Bajo. As for if LEGO Batman 2 will come out on it, well, maybe, but virtual reality works best with first-person games rather than something like LEGO Batman where you look at your character.
Yeah, so it's not the ideal game for it, I think. You want to get that sensation that you are actually Batman. It would just be like playing it normally on a monitor or TV, but it was strapped to your face. Don't recommend that.
We assume you're asking about a Minecraft server there, but sorry to say we don't actually have one. We do have our map that you can download from the Spawn Point website, but it's not a server that you can join. Anyway, on that note, we're out of time for this week. If you want to ask us something, then you can go here and send us your question.
And you better get in quick because we only have 2 more episodes of Spawn Point left for the year. Now quick, Doug, Unicorn, back to the studio!
Back to the studio! Future gentleman, future man.
Future gentleman man.
It's so hard to say.
Future gentleman man. All right, Hex, it's time to strike a heroic pose as we're going to have a look at LEGO Marvel superheroes.
So much for taking the subway down to the Bugle. Guess I'll just have to fight my way through it.
Good plan.
Spider-Man!
The evil mastermind Dr. Doom has enlisted the help of a league of supervillains to help him build a Doom Ray.
Bad guy and dark minion I could find to help assemble Dr. Doom's Doom Ray of Doom.
The cutscenes look great and they're packed with plenty of humor, but they're mostly just an excuse to throw all of our favorite Marvel heroes and villains together and play out the random team-ups comic fans dream about. For example, who'd win if Hulk and Iron Man teamed up against Sandman?
I think I'll give you a hand or two.
It's up to Nick Fury to gather the world's heroes against Dr. Doom. This means we get to use the SHIELD helicarrier as a flying base between missions. And when you're ready to play the next level, you simply jump off and skydive down into New York City.
Those skydives are so fun, aren't they? I was fanning out at this game almost every few minutes. It's packed with so many brilliant touches like that, such as this level where I'm fighting frost giants in Asgard. Just getting to be in Asgard is cool alone, but I'm there as Thor, Captain America, the Human Torch, and Wolverine. Just awesome. And when I was fighting Loki, he duplicated himself, which, as you know, is a handy power he has. But then Wolverine was like, and used his super sense of smell to sniff the real Loki out. Oh, and I can't forget Iceman. He's so cool. He can fly on these ice slides. Oh, it's just like in the comics that I used to read when I was
Oh dear, I do believe Bajo has slipped into a fanboy coma. It happens to the best of us.
What should we do, Darren?
Nothing, Hex. It's a fragile mental state that's best left alone for a few minutes. He'll come to.
Well, I hope so. Darren, we've been playing these Lego games for almost a decade, and the format's always been pretty much the same. Beat up some goons, then smash some blocks, and build them into something to get to the next section. It's a solid formula, but I've always been a little bit frustrated by how simple the combat's been, so I was so happy to see a lot more moves being used in this game.
Affirmative. The different heroes have some quite unique combat styles. Bigger characters like the Hulk and the Thing can smash the ground so hard it makes mini earthquakes. Plus they can hurl blocks at enemies. And there are lots of ranged characters like Cyclops that can use lasers to cut through enemies and walls.
where was I? Oh yes, let's not forget about the flying heroes. Zipping around with Iron Man's jets is so much fun, and I appreciated the way they've captured his movement style so that he lands with a lot of weight. Plus, the spinning moves he does when he's firing his blasts look spot on. And fans of the latest Iron Man film will notice clever little references like this house party protocol scene.
Speaking of flying heroes, I love the way they react when you slip off a platform. Brilliant. It should just be a rule from now on that any flying video game characters should be able to save themselves if they fall from a great height.
Yes, agreed. And I like the way that they put the creator of Marvel Comics, Stan Lee, in all of the levels. He has a little cameo everywhere, just like in the movies.
Thanks. I was nearly toast. Burnt toast.
Now, I think a robot's efficiency is needed to assess the game's puzzles. I appreciate that these Lego games are aimed at gamers of all ages, so they can't be too difficult, but some of the puzzles are so simple they sent my CPU into sleep mode. Like this one, where you have to build a handful of things just to make a tiny ramp, which is pointless when you're controlling heroes that could just fly or leap over the ramp anyway. There's just no logic to it.
Yeah, that was a bit silly. I also have really mixed feelings about the boss fights. Take Juggernaut, for example. Being able to use Jean Grey's mind powers against him is so cool when you're snatching blocks out of the air. But then later when he's defenseless, there's nothing you can do to damage him except figure out exactly what the game wants you to do. I mean, when you have a whole team of heroes with different abilities, it'd be nice if there was also a few different ways to beat the bosses.
I think the game is at its best during the combat. You normally have a few heroes to flick between, so there's loads of variety. And some of the attacks are pretty hilarious.
I've got to say, the amount of gameplay packed into this is mind-boggling. As well as all the regular missions, you can wander around New York City doing things like side quests or races. And of course, there are plenty of sections in the levels that are built for you to come back to later when you've unlocked the right character to perform a specific action.
Being a big superhero fan, I had a great time with this, and I'm so happy the combat is a bit better. I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, I had a good time with it too. I just wish there were those multiple solutions given the range of powers you have. I'm giving it 7.5.
Well guys, it has been super fun being a superhero for a day.
I know, right? Maybe I should just wear this outfit all the time anyway.
You two superheroes seem to have forgotten something.
You're right, Darren. Next week on the show, we're going to be reviewing Ratchet & Clank Nexus.
Thanks, pal.
But that's not what I meant. I have finished construction of my super laser.
The Doomsday Weapon! Dark Unicorn, we must stop him!
You're right. You're going nowhere, Professor Cat Scratch.
No, wait!
Dark Unicorn, while he is incapacitated, I will teleport to the Darren Cave and destroy the laser. Teleport... Hang on a sec. Teleport power activate!
Wait, Bajo! Not my super laser, please!
What was the laser actually for, Darren?
It was designed to turn any regular food stuff into the perfect temperature cheese toasties.
Oh no.
Ah! Here, I snapped this off, and Hex, that laser will never work again.
Oh, Bajo, Darren actually wasn't going to use the laser to destroy the world.
The laser was for making perfect toasties.
No! Oh, no! I was wondering what all those cheese barrels were for. Darren, tell me you can fix it.
Well, it was 10 long years in development, but I suppose I could start again.
Don't worry, Darren. I'll help you. Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Darren out.